Hello, my name's Ian Jeffrey and I'm the Chief Executive of the Law Society of England and Wales, and it's my pleasure this morning to talk to you about the launch of the Strategic Sector Insights Report for the legal profession, which we produced in conjunction with MHA. And I'm delighted to be joined by two colleagues from MHA. So welcome to Robert Bletch and also welcome to Kate Arnott. If I may, let's go straight into talking about the report. And Robert, I thought I'd come to you first and just ask how you think the report is impactful for the sector and what firms should be able to take from it.
Well, I think that this report is produced because there's been a gap in the market for mid-tier firms, and the information within this report fills that void so we can have some strategic insights into some important issues.
Kate?
Yeah, I think the report's been designed to help decision makers sort of anticipate the challenges that the industry is facing, spot the opportunities, and to gain a better understanding of what their counterparts are focusing on. It's really to try and help them identify those key drivers for what their strategies should be for the next 12 months.
Well, that tells us what readers can expect from the report, but give us a sense of the key findings in the report.
Well, the big things that have come out this year compared to last year are a sort of increased focus on technology, the use of AI, and probably looking at the mergers and acquisitions side of things. Robert, did you want to add?
Yes, I think AI is a particular issue that has become prevalent this year. Last year, the amount of firms that were using AI was minimal. There was some using it, but this year that has rocketed. And a number of respondents who have said they are using AI in some way has really grown. Some of that is to do administrative tasks using AI and generative AI, but some of that has been more specific, using bespoke legal AI software in order to do some actual legal work as well. On top of that, Kate mentioned mergers and acquisitions, and mergers and acquisitions have always been a topical subject or topical issue for law firms, whereas there is a stabilization of what firms were deciding to do. They are now eagerly looking to acquire in some instances, and we drill into that a bit deeper in terms of how are they looking to acquire. We have a specific section on this report into the funding of mergers and acquisitions. Now, because the way the market is going at the moment, a lot of that is to do with how firms are able to finance these acquisitions. And so the report looks at firms who are using a PE model in order to fund some acquisitions, and the pros and cons and the risks and benefits of using such a financing option.
I think if I can add, that's not surprising to us. Last year, we were actually surprised at the lack of interest in PE as an option. We're seeing slightly more this year now what we would expect of that traditional lag behind perhaps the finance industry, where PE has been prevalent for many years now. And the interest is now sort of beginning to peak within the legal industry as well.
Fantastic. And I just wanted to add a quick perspective on the report, which I found very interesting to read, and particularly because it mapped to some of the key missions that the Law Society has in its own strategy for the next 3 years. So technology, of course, is something which practitioners in all settings everywhere are talking about, but the value of the report is it gives a perspective on the technological questions, particularly for the mid-size firms. A second big issue for us is growth of legal services. And again, for that tier of mid-size firms, thinking about how acquisitions, how technology, how other developments can be funded. And we talked about the private equity model, which is becoming increasingly more significant in that. And a third thing I picked out from it was on the idea of responsible business and good governance, and you've picked out some key themes for leaders of those firms in that section of the report. So for me, it was a valuable addition to what we already know about the industry generally, but thinking in particular about that suite of firms. And I'd certainly encourage leaders and partners in those firms to be looking at the report and seeing what it means for them and for their future strategies.
No, thank you, Ian.
Well, thanks very much for joining us. Thank you to Robert Bletch and to Kate Arnott from MHA for their time and views as we launch the report. I very much encourage practitioners, not just from mid-sized firms, but particularly from mid-sized firms, to access the report and see its findings. And you can do that from the website in your own time. But for now, it's bye from us, and thank you very much for watching.